Matt, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, Nestor?
I'm doing pretty well, Matt. Today, we're having a really nice conversation, and it's around the value of training your curiosity. Okay, what do you think? Do you think it's a good topic for today?
Oh, definitely. Both based on our previous discussions around AI and technology, but also everything we've been talking about with the Curiosity Project and curiosity in general. Yeah. I think
Okay.
one of the big things I've learned recently in studying curiosity, not just working in curiosity, is the need or the value even of training your curiosity. And by training, I just mean like an intentional practice or an intentional focus on what curiosity is, but even more importantly, what your individual personalized curiosity is. But before, I could talk all day, obviously, and I think we will for at least 10 or 15 minutes. But I'm curious why you came up with this question. What was the curiosity driving you for this question? Um,
Okay, that's a good opening for today. So give me a second.
oh, I think you're frozen, Nestor.
Okay, it's not working.
No, now you're back. You're you're back.
Okay, that's a new one.
Yeah, that's the first
Yeah,
time.
that's a new thing that we are trying. So, Matt, yeah,
Yeah.
actually, usually when people is facing new things, even if those new things it doesn't like very new, it's very common to ask, hey, what's the value behind this? Because I'll be investing a lot of time, maybe, and I'll be investing some reading actually resources in order to learn how to improve my curiosity, how to train my curiosity.
Mhm.
And the value usually is not just about the money maybe that you are getting out of it,
Yeah.
but the value for your life. And I would like
Mhm.
to have this conversation mainly in three areas. The
Mhm.
first one it's actually the your personal capacities, basically you, of course, in your daily lives. The
Yep.
second one is at your work. How training your curiosity actually makes better and even easier your job. It doesn't matter where you are. And
Yep.
the third one, yeah, of course, it's about the benefit, the economic value of improving or training your curiosity. Those three topics, I think that'll be great, and is the most common thing. And I will start with
Mhm.
the first one. In a daily life, we are so used to go like a Tesla, like an autopilot everywhere we are,
Yeah.
that we actually it's not that we forget things, that we forget to enjoy life. No, it's because the very hard training that we got from about curiosity when we are very young. This is something
Mhm.
in the party, this is something that is on the roots of curiosity based learning. Um, we we do not use it anymore. It's like playing football when you're a kid. It's like going to many different exercise types, different sports.
Mhm.
It makes sense that you are in good shape when you are young because you are doing many things. When you're an adult, maybe it's not that you forget those things; it's that you don't do the training
Mhm.
to improve on those things. And I think curiosity is the same stuff. Once you lost your natural training need about curiosity, you are losing many things in your life. Yep,
Mhm.
it's not that you're losing the nice landscape or the good sunrise or the sunset because you are not paying attention. It's not just about that. I think it's because you are not training your curiosity. When you are
Yeah.
training your curiosity, your life
Mhm.
will grow because you will be able to see more. And I'm saying more is not that you will spend more time or make different activities to see more. No, it's the same activity that you're doing, the same life that you are having, the same route that you are actually moving every single day.
Mhm.
You will be able to see more, to enjoy more, and actually to learn more. I think that's my take on the first one. What's yours?
So when I think about this this topic and everything you're talking about, I think of two different things immediately, and it's really we're talking about curiosity and why, training your curiosity, whether it's for personal, for work, or for economic, really for all of those. I always think of that, maybe just because of the world that we're living in our last conversations, but I immediately put that in context of AI. So I'm thinking about, like, what's the value of training your curiosity? This has always been valuable in my opinion, but again, I'm biased, right? I think it's gone from valuable though to critical, in many ways, for not just us individually, but really for us as a species, for a society, for a culture, for as a species. And I think of that, this training your curiosity having gone from valuable to critical. And the two things that come to mind to illustrate this is one from a what if conference at the University of Missouri, the What If MU, almost 10 years, at least 10 years ago. So this is a long time ago. I'll never forget, one of the questions was about robots and the issue, like, what if robots replace humans and all of this. Again, over a decade ago. And one of the lines the speaker said that has always stuck with me, I think it was one of the slides, was, if you don't want to be replaced by a robot, you have to you can't think like a robot. Or I'm fumbling the exact terms, right? But the idea was, like, the only way not to be replaced by a robot is to not think like a robot. And yeah, that makes sense, and that's logical, and we can all kind of see that even more clearly now. But what that question isn't asking is, well, how do we make sure we don't think like a robot or act like a robot, right? And as we've been discussing for such a long time, and I guess a lot of the motivation behind curiosity-based thinking and the work, we do with what if curiosity, is to train people not to think like robots or not to behave like robots. And how do we do that? Well, it's all rooted in curiosity. As we discussed before, is curiosity is this big differentiator between humans and AI or robots. So that's kind of the kind of one of the foundational pieces for the value of training your curiosity. And the other example that goes straight to my mind is, I don't know the date this movie came out. It was probably around the same time, maybe a little earlier, but Wall-E. If you remember the opening to Wall-E, and you see this is our future. These are humans with advanced AI and robotics and everything else. And it's a horror story. I mean, kids shouldn't be, I mean, it's terrifying. And sure, they're humans and they're alive and they're fed, right, and everything else, but this is not an image of human flourishing. This is not what we think, hey, peak humanity. Let's see what humans can achieve with, all the technology, the advances in technology combined with humanity or the human spirit. And that's absent. And why is it absent? The people there are not only is it not an example of human flourishing, but they're lacking curiosity, creativity, and all these other things. So how do we prevent the future of humanity as we see in Wall-E? How do you not become replaced by a robot? Well, curiosity. And again, it's still not in a pill, but how do you do that curiosity? Well, it's training, right? So it's that intentional focus on not just what curiosity is, but what your curiosity is. Because once you can get in touch with what your curiosity is, what makes you curious, and kind of how your curiosity works, well, you can start putting that to work for all kinds of things, whether it's your personal, your work, or for economic reasons, or for just general life satisfaction. And the last thing that this kind of brings me back to is this thing, thinking about, like, the other thing that we train today, like, to really put it in context. We think about training. You brought it up earlier. We think about sports and athletics, right? Well, think about this. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, whatever it is, the idea that you, an adult, would take time out of your day and even possibly money out of your pocket to go to a place to run in place for an hour or 30 minutes or whatever it is, or to lift heavy objects repeatedly, would blow their mind. They would have no idea why a human would ever possibly waste time or money to exercise their body, right? Because the way the world was, the way technology was, let's be honest, people generally got enough exercise and movement just in their day to day. But as technology changes and advances in certain ways, in order to be healthy, in order to reach peak humanity, right? We have to start carving time to train certain things. And where my mind goes is in the not so distant future, we're going to need to carve 30 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour out of you every day, or so often out of a week, to do a treadmill for our curiosity, to so we don't lose it, so we don't become the blobs of humanity in Wall-E. I think in order, the same way that if we don't exercise our body physically, at a gym or something, we will lose our health and our fitness. I truly believe if we don't intentionally work out, focus on, and use our curiosity, creativity, and all the other things that come from it, we're either going to be overrun by the AI, the robots, and everything else, or we're
Yeah,
just
that
going to lose. We're going to become blobs of humanity. Yeah.
yeah, totally, totally, and that makes the perfect connection for the second part, and it's what's the value of training your curiosity at your work, and I
Uh-huh.
think in this moment, actually, over the last 10 years of technology development, one thing that is very important, and I think everybody is with here with me,
Hmm.
it's once you have access to different tools, like your computer, your cell phone, and a lot of apps on the market.
Yeah.
Um, the manual, to have the manual, the booklet about how
Hmm.
to use the tool, how to use the software is not enough. You have
Yeah.
to be a curious person, and the more curious you are about it, oh, what can I do with this little button? What can I do with this option? What can I do with this tone? What if I use this option to improve my work? What if I use this add-on in the app? What if I use this little crazy programming stuff
Yeah.
I'm just aware of that. I assure you, and everybody, I'm sure is with me. Every time you let yourself to be curious about options
Hmm.
on the technology, you improve your life because you improve the way you use tools and you are using less time. You are, I would say, you're becoming a better user of the technology, not just because the technology, because you are allowing yourself to be curious about the different options that actually are not at the front of the tools. And I think that's one of the perfect examples of the value of training your curiosity. So basically, you are more curious about the tool that you are using on your daily life and at your work. So basically, you are
Hmm.
more efficient, you are more productive, and you have more time to be even more curious. That's my take.
Well, I see it on a smaller level. I see that with I have a 4-year-old son, and to your point about the technology and using this, he's never had a class. I've never had a class on how to use this technology or anything else. He's motivated 100% by curiosity. Like, he'll grab my phone, he'll grab my laptop, and he'll want to figure it out. And I'm joking, about a 4-year-old son, but why shouldn't someone at work have a similar experience with what they're doing at work, right? Like, why shouldn't they're new things, they're things that are unknown, they're things that should be done or accomplished. What if we could transform the way we approach the things we do at work, so that it's like a 4-year-old figuring out a tablet, right? Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And that doesn't happen just automatically. You need to train your curiosity to do it. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah, easy. It requires training. That
Yeah.
that's so precisely right now. It doesn't happen by chance. It requires training. When you are
Exactly.
trained, when you are exercising that muscle of curiosity, it's very common for you. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very curious. Oh my god! But how is possible that Frank learned so fast on how to use every single tool?
Yep.
That's because he allowed himself to be curious about the stuff that the tool has. And
Yeah.
the third one, of course, it's if we put this in the common thing of money.
Mhm.
I think it's quite simple to explain that the more curious you are, maybe the more opportunities that you're facing, the more opportunities that you're putting yourself in front of. So basically, in that way, it's not just about be sure about the outcomes of every single step that you are taking. It's about the be curious. Hey, what if this opportunity that I was offered last week, I say yes? What if I go to this place, to this meeting?
Mhm.
What if I invest in this instrument? I think the best way to have no risk is not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to improve actually your economic life, it
Mhm.
is you need to be more curious about the opportunities that are in front of you or that might be in front, and you are not aware because you are not curious enough to identify. That's my
Yeah.
5 cents on that.
And just quickly on that last one, if you want to be even more specific, like say you're in a startup or you're leading a team at a larger business, you can always look at how training your curiosity it can be valuable. Is how curious are you about your customers, right? How curious are you about the problem or problems you're solving, and how curious are you about the solution you're building for it? And you know as well as anybody, we provide curiosity-based thinking as processes and trainings for those specific things, but they're all grounded in curiosity. And the idea is the better you train your raw curiosity, and then you can apply it. The curiosity is one thing, but applied curiosity is where the real use comes from. But it doesn't happen until you train your curiosity. So if you train your curiosity, then you can apply it to these things about being curious about your customers and the problems they're facing, or what they think about your product or services, or about the how curious are you about the problem you're trying to solve. Is it more than just money and profit? Are you truly curious about this? And then the solution you're building, how curious are you about it, and how curious are you about it actually working? And if you can check all those boxes, I think those will lead to economic benefit, or increases, let's say. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, I think we that covers perfect our conversation today. So it
Thanks.
was nice to see you as usual.
Yeah.
So see you next time.
Great. Getting curious with you, Nestor. Have a great week.
Oh, well, for sure.